Welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Community Report 40 for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. This report was released on the 6th of December 2021, if you watch this in the future, and it relates to the upcoming update, although this report doesn't feature anything to do with the crime and justice mechanic. It's more orientated towards some other fixes that they intend to include in the update. So let's just get down to it. Greetings, dear comrades of the Soviet Republic. The current situation in Slovakia is serious once again, and you may have heard that we are in one of the few countries in national lockdown. But this cannot slow us down, even if it can restrict our freedom of movement, because we can work from home office if necessary. Just to bring you to the next update, which may contain a few surprises. Since last report, there were 2 updates released for the public test, and these were focusing on some fixes. You can see, got a nice picture here of a new building. Looks like some kind of rail yard. From fixes, we can mention the issue with burned down building when its path connection was not automatically regenerated, making it impossible to reach for pedestrians. We tweaked the construction costs for new farms and fixed issue with burned down storages to delete their resources afterwards, to not have them back after rebuilding the structure. Oh, that's a shame. We also made another change for yellow signal mechanic to avoid track engagement if train is too far away. There are other fixes too, but these are not to be the main content of this report. So we've got a picture here. We've got this yard thing here. We want to introduce something many of you have been dreaming about. It is a brand new facility called Railroad Distribution Office. Yes! It took us a while to figure out how it may be possible to make it work. By the way, this building was based according to the real world building in Košice, Slovakia. Apologies for the pronunciation. And it serves the same purpose as in the game. Now, to be completely upfront, this is going to be a feature that's going to be a bit of a game changer, because at the moment I design my structures so that I can prevent trains stealing all the resources from a key production area. And if any of you follow my Seven Crosses series, you'll be aware of the way I laid out my new steel town with no direct connection to the steel mill. And the introduction of rail distribution offices will completely change the way I'm going to be building certain key areas now. Anyway, let's just move on. So how this building should work: you will connect it to your railway system, then you bring in or buy a few locomotives and some wagons, which can be different types. Then you can set your sources and destinations with respective percentages, similar to road distribution office, and the railroad distribution office will set trains up, adding wagons to locomotives and sending them for their supply trips. We know it sounds impressive, but bear in mind that you will need to build your railroad appropriately to allow these trains to move into their destinations, as you cannot add waypoints and restrict them from movement through unexpected locations. Interesting. Let's just have a quick look at the picture here. So this is a picture of the office. That looks really impressive. The shunting yard there. So I think I'm going to make this the thumbnail actually. And I really like the idea that the trains will be versatile. So this here, train distribution office. So it looks like you actually have the trains here, and then the rest of it looks exactly the same as distribution office. This is going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to playing this. And this is the type of feature that completely changes my outlook towards trains, because as I say, in the past I've always kind of regarded trains as a kind of a bit of a blunt weapon for shifting mass resources around the map. Having a distribution office and placing them correctly is going to make a very big difference to the logistics in the game. Better not talk too much about this. We need to move on. So there's another minor change we've made, was adding a new button for vehicles to show which vehicles can be loaded on flatbeds and which vehicle can carry the vehicle as cargo. Wow, let's have a look at this one. We've got a button up here next to the rename button that says show vehicles capable to transport vehicles. And this just gives a list of the vehicles that can carry vehicles. That is going to be incredibly useful, because one of my problems I often have is when, like, say, the different types of tower cranes, is trying to find out whether I've actually got a vehicle capable of carrying those items. That is going to be very useful as well, especially for me. So let's just move down. The next thing we are working on is rebalance of the citizens' free time activities. This way we can also give you some insight about how the system works and help you make better decisions based on that. We currently have 4 groups of leisure activities: church visit, doing sport, drinking in the pub, and going to culture. All these activities have some impact on happiness and other stats: health, religion, loyalty, alcohol addiction, sport, and culture. There can be positive if the need is satisfied and negative if the need is not satisfied. Everything is percentage based, and you may be aware that you can get up to 100% for each stat if satisfied constantly. If the citizen is not able to enjoy the activity he is looking for, then he loses a small percentage of the stat connected with that activity. Each of these activities provides some happiness if satisfied, but may have different impacts on other stats. First, our focus was about balance out those activities. So in case you provide to citizens sport, pub, and culture, none of the activity will not get stronger over time. I'm not exactly too sure what that means. Also, we are trying now tweak gain of values for every activity. So every of activity will have some advantages and disadvantages. Another significant change there is way how the happiness is handled. Previously, it was easily to achieve 100% happiness. Now the happiness will increase much slower. Also, the maximum level of happiness will be connected to quality of living, a preference of apartment where the citizen live, and naturally also according to difficulty setting. It looks very much like happiness could be capped depending on the type of apartment that someone lives in. So say, for example, they live in an apartment of a quality of 80%. They may not actually be able to get to 100%. That's going to make our life interesting, especially when connected to loyalty. So it looks very much like when the new update comes out, balancing happiness and all the other reasons that drive happiness. Also a little bit suspicious about maybe we're going to get some negatives as well. So that's going to probably increase the challenge of managing the economy and people's overall happiness and loyalty as well. So that could be interesting. So moving on, finally, another small issue for better screenshot about we added water detail setting to avoid tiling similar to what we did on land. So it looks like they've reworked the water texture to make it look a little bit more realistic. Let's take a quick look at that, although it hasn't really changed that much. It's a bit difficult to tell what the difference is. I think probably the best way to see this will be when it's actually in game. So just move down to the final paragraph. There was a little surprise for this week, and you may expect some more unexpected stuff to come. And we still stay focused on getting the crime and justice update ready for release. That is our focus, and we are every day closer to our deadline. If everything goes well, it may be a matter of weeks, and it should be so because there are only 4 weeks remaining until the end of this month. Now you can spend some time thinking about how much happiness you can get out of visiting church, doing sport, drinking in the pub, and going for culture, especially when you have these times when, due to lockdowns, we cannot do most of this. It means that the happiness of our citizens will drop during upcoming weeks even more. But does the government care about that? We hope you care about your workers' happiness and health. And if not, it's just a game, and you should care at least about yourself and your beloved ones. So enjoy what makes you happy and do not harm others, and stay tuned for the next report. Wow, what can I say? A very interesting report. I'm not exactly sure I understand how the changes to happiness are going to be. If any of you guys got any insight, feel free to chuck it in the comments. The way I see it is that, especially like the alcohol addiction is negative anyway, religion could possibly affect loyalty, and loyalty could affect religion. So that is a possibility as well. And of course, good old health is in there, something that I always seem to have a bit of a problem with. Quite interestingly is going to be this level of accommodation. I can see if you're starting out with some fairly ropey old buildings, you may not be able to get to 100% happiness again. And of course, up here we got the big one. I'm really looking forward to experimenting with this rail distribution offices. This will change my whole attitude towards rail. And I know some people commented that I don't never seem to rush for rail. And the lack of a distribution office has always been one of those issues. So having distribution offices will make a very big difference. Anyway, this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.